Hey ladies, this is Breanna from MissRutters.com, and I want to show you this beautiful new hairstyle called the invisible ponytail. Before we get started, please thumbs up this video and click the subscribe button because I really love showing you guys how to do these styles on yourself for free, and I want to continue to help as many women as I possibly can. So now without further ado, let's get started with this super gorgeous look. So these are the materials that you will need to create your invisible ponytail. And starting off, as you can see, my hair is sleek and in a pony, and this is how you want to begin. So now I'm just grabbing my loose ends and I'm removing them from the ponytail so that I can actually begin braiding. So of course you want to comb through to clear out any tangles and just to smooth your hair out. So now you're going to divide your ponytail into 3 sections in preparation for your braid. Now you're only going to need a little bit of braiding hair to actually braid your hair into a braid, and you can use as much or as little as you want. So as you see here, I'm just pinching off a smaller piece so that way I can form 3 equal legs to my braid, because as you can see, each leg of my braiding hair will go on each leg of my real hair. Now after attaching it, you just want to make sure that as you are braiding, you're always smoothing down your hair, because you don't want your hair to stick out from the braid, because it will stick out when you actually wear your invisible ponytail. So you just want to continue to smooth your hair with the braiding hair simultaneously as you're braiding. Now one tip that you could do if your hair is short or it's uneven is that you can put some actual edge control on the ends so that way it can blend very easily. At this point, I'm putting a rubber band on the end of my braid so that it won't unravel as I'm getting ready to do my style. So now you just cut off that little piece so it doesn't stick out, and this is how it should look so far. But at this point, I didn't want it to be that long, so I'm just gonna fold it in half and braid it. Now what I could have done, of course, is I could have took my braid down and then just re-braided it shorter, but I would rather have just did this so that way I didn't have to actually spend more time just to re-braid it, because you just want to base at where you're gonna actually be sewing down your extensions. So this is the length that I actually want my braid to be. Now you're gonna make sure to use nylon sewing thread because it's the safest thread to use on your hair. And really quickly, I'm just gonna show you how to actually prepare your needle and thread. So you just wanna take one piece of your thread to pull it through the eye, and then you're gonna grab the other side of your thread and simply form a knot. This is so easy to do, but some of you wanted to know exactly how to do this process, so that's why I'm showing you in preparation of actually sewing down your extensions. Now after you actually tighten that knot up, you're gonna just cut off the remaining thread at the top, and this is simply how you prepare your needle and thread. As you see here, this is 3 bundles of the Mrs. Rutter's luxury body wave hair in 22 inches, but for this look, I only use 1 bundle and a half. So at this point, I'm stitching 2 bundles together. So first, in order to begin, you want to grab your prepared needle and you want to put it through the weft. Now these Mrs. Rutter's bundles have a very, very sturdy weft, so it took a little bit of wrist work to get that needle through, but it's no problem. So now after I've pulled it through, I'm gonna grab the needle and I'm gonna pull it through the beginning of the other weft, because I'm gonna draw them up so that they join together. So now you're gonna go under both wefts to actually create your first knot, and then you're gonna do this a second time because that second knot prevents the knots from actually unraveling. So now that we've finished attaching our needle to our weft, this is exactly how it should look at this point. So now we're going to begin stitching at the very bottom of our braid, and you simply want to just insert your needle through and then go underneath both wefts. Now because you attached your needle to your weft, it's going to make it very easy for it to draw up exactly where you want to be, which is exactly where you inserted your needle. So when you pull up, that's how you create your first knot. So now I'm going to show you one more time. You want to go underneath the wefts and through your braid. Then you want to wrap the thread around the needle twice or 3 times. Then you want to pull through, and when you pull up, it creates a knot for you. So now at this point, I'm working through the back of the braid, and you just want to continue to stitch at the front of the braid and also at the back of the braid so that the braid is going up without having any lag. Because if you end up winding it up too far without making a couple of stitches along the way, it actually won't be secure on your braid. So as you can see here, I'm just doing my same looping and knotting technique to create knots along the way. So now I'm stopping right here just to show you exactly how it looks after just your first 2 stitches. I absolutely love this technique, and the reason why is because you will not see the wefts when you're stitching up, and also this is glueless so it won't damage your hair. So now I'm just continuing to show you exactly how you want to stitch. Now as you reach up closer to the top, the braid is getting bigger, and this means that you have to put more knots on both sides. Now I suggest that you do about 2 to 3 knots at the front of the braid and also at the back of the braid so that the wefts are very secure going all the way up. Because if you only do 1 knot on each side, it's possible that just with a little bit of combing and styling throughout the week that it will start to unravel if you only have it secured 1 knot at a time going at the front and the back of the braid. So that's why I highly suggest that as you're working your way up, you do about 2 to 3 knots on each side. Before I finish stitching up the rest of the way, I just wanted to take a moment to show you exactly how your ponytail should look so far. And with this technique, you will not see any wefts through your hair. So now I just have a little bit of weft left, and as you can see, I ran out of braid to actually stitch on. No worries, you're just gonna take the remaining weft and you're gonna wrap it around the base of your ponytail. So just make sure that you're wrapping it around very tightly and secure so that it's not loose. And then as you fully work your way all the way around, making sure to move your hair out of the way as you're wrapping it, you're then going to make sure to hold it very firmly in place where it ends so that you can secure it with a bobby pin. So now make sure the bobby pin you use is short enough so that it doesn't stick out at the back of your ponytail. And so far, this is exactly how it looks with those bundles installed. Remember, I only used a bundle and a half. So now where you see that pin at is where we're gonna grab some hair, because you wanna make sure to conceal these wefts, right? Make sure your hair is very smooth and spray it with hairspray. I mean literally, like drench it with hairspray, because you want the hair to be fully drenched so that you can wrap it around very easily around the base of your pony. So now starting at the back, I'm just winding it all the way around. And the one trick to making sure that it looks very, very smooth around your wefts is to always be combing along the way and using hairspray to help you to mold it as well. So make sure you use a really good holding hairspray and spray it exactly on top of this band you're creating for your ponytail. I highly suggest that you do this method because it makes the style look very, very smooth at the base. But what you could also do is you could braid a thicker braid from your braiding hair, and you can also wrap that around and pin it with a bobby pin. But if you want this look, this is the way that I would suggest that you do it so that it can hold very firmly in place. So now we are almost done, and you don't want to forget that tiny little piece that's left at the end. You just want to smooth it as best as you can, and then at this point you want to make sure that you're using your blow dry to help speed up the drying process. Because you used hairspray along the way to actually mold this part of your ponytail, it will be wet and sticky. So as long as you thoroughly dry it, no hair will stick to it and it will remain in place very, very sturdy. So after you finish drying your ponytail, I just want to show you this cool little secret, and that is that with this technique, like I said, you don't see any wefts whatsoever. And of course that braid is still under there, but it's very hidden with your bundles of hair being sewn in. Now, one tip that I want to mention is that if you want to cut down the time on actually sewing your bundles, you want to make your braid a lot shorter, but if you go shorter and you want a longer ponytail, then you want to use longer hair. So now that our ponytail is installed, it's time for some styling. But first, you want to make sure you use some heat protectant to protect your hair extensions. I'm only using about a dime-sized amount of oil to actually protect the hair. And this is a very important step because heat protectant protects your hair extensions from becoming heat damaged. And being that this is 100% virgin Indian hair extensions, this is very important if you want to preserve the curl pattern. You always want to use heat protectant on your real hair as well as your hair extensions to maintain its health. So now as you see, I'm just rubbing through in the middle and on the outside. And in a little bit, I'm gonna show you exactly how to curl your hair because it's super easy to do. So the first thing that you want to do is locate the bottom of your ponytail, and that would actually be where the bottom of your braid is at, because this makes it a whole lot easier to work on your sections as you're curling your hair. So you're just going to pinch off a small section in relation to the size of your curlers. So the section I got is about 1 inch, so I'm just pinching that off and separating it from the rest. And then you want to use a clip to keep the rest of your hair section out of the way. So now with your comb in hand, you're just gonna smooth out your section of hair before adding product. I like to use the Aussie Sprunch Level 1 hairspray for my hair extensions. And the reason why is because it gives such a light hold. And now after spraying a light amount through the hair, you're just gonna comb the product through. For my curls, I use a tapered curling wand, so go ahead and heat it up to 350 degrees because we're gonna take a stab at it. When curling your hair, you want to make sure that you wrap your hair section at the very bottom, and as you're going up, you want to make sure that the hair is very flat. So you don't want the hair to be turned or curved because it's going to give a different look with your curls. So just make sure you're wrapping flatly all the way to the top, and then when you hold it for a couple of seconds, you're going to release it into your hands. And then at this point, you just roll the curl onto itself, and then you use duckbill clips to pin that curl in place. Now, I highly suggest using this technique if you want your curls to be as tight as possible. But if you want the curls to look like they've dropped pretty much as how curls look throughout the day, then I suggest that when you remove it from the curler, you just let the curls hang down because warm hair tends to stretch more. So now I'm just showing you once again on another section, exact same technique. And remember, you don't have to use much hairspray because if you use too much, it will actually cause your hair to stick to your curling iron. You just want a little bit because this is going to help give the curls a little bit of hold. This is how you should look at this point after you finish curling up all of your hair. Now, if you wanted to, you can use a bigger curling iron to create bigger or wider curls, or you could have left it straight if you wanted to. So now at this point, what I'm going to be showing you is how I style my edges. Now, I wanted this look to be extremely wearable. I didn't want to add too much hair to the ponytail. So in order to match the look that I'm going for, I'm actually just going to do a very light sculpting to my edges. So in order to do that, I dipped my hairbrush in my edge control, and then I'm brushing it along my hairline to just give it that light hold. I just want to stylize it just a little bit, not too much. So I'm just gonna do the same thing to the other side as you see here. Now, what you could do is you could still scoop out the edge control with your fingers if you wanted to, but this helped me to maintain that very light control that I wanted to have with my edges. So now that we've finished adding edge control, you lock it in with some hairspray. So if you didn't know, this is like the top secret level trick to making your edges last all day is literally using hairspray. So after spraying, you just smooth it in and then you get something like this as a result. So as you can see, ladies, this is how your hair should look at this point now that all of your sections have been curled. So now it's time to release our curls, and at this point our curls have already cooled down. So in order to further style your hair, you want to release one curl at a time. Now at this point you're just going to take your comb and you're going to comb through your curl to further smooth it out to help it also be a little bit more elongated. And then you're going to lock in that curl with a little bit of hairspray. So now you're doing the same thing on the next section as well, and you could make sure to just use your fingers instead of a comb if you want to. It just gives a slightly different look to your curl. So do whatever you like. You could comb through your curl, you can smooth through with your hands, or you could just leave the curl as is and spray it fresh off the pin. And this is how how our curls look, and I'm almost finished. I just got a few left at the top, but I just wanted to show you how bouncy and beautiful the hair looks with this style. I absolutely love it. So now I'm just releasing my remaining curls, and you want to do the same thing that you did with your first two sections. Now, of course, like I said, you can smooth it through with your hands, or you could just right off the pin just spray it. So it's up to you exactly how you want to style your hair. So ladies, as you can see, this is such a cool technique to do with your hair, and the style is extremely wearable. You can wear it out and about, at work. It pretty much fits any occasion. So ladies, I hope you enjoyed watching this invisible ponytail tutorial, and make sure to subscribe and thumbs up this video if you want to see more from my channel. My channel is currently at 374,000 subscribers, and one of my goals is to get it to 500,000 subscribers. And I know with all of your help, we can make it happen. So go ahead and subscribe, because trust me, you don't want to miss the video I'm coming out with next. Until then, see you later.